In 2023, the AI sector saw significant growth in venture investment, with generative AI and AI-related startups up nearly $50 billion. Well, concerns have risen about sustainability of growth, and our Cheddar correspondent Dave Briggs talked with senior reporter at Crunchbase News, Chris Matinko, to break it down. Take a look.
Can anybody really challenge the king of search? How worried should Google be?
No. I mean, I think AI search is definitely one of the things that investors are looking at really heavily right now. I think we also watched this with a lot of other well-known startups like Perplexity AI raised recently, obviously for their search capabilities. If I was Google, would I be worried? I mean, I think we're still kind of very much in the early days of what this technology can do and how it's going to challenge an incumbent. And we also know that, Google obviously has its own innovation that it's going in its own directions with AI. So I don't know if I would use the word worried, but I'm sure they keep tabs.
Yes, seemingly impossible to break the habit of Google. It is, after all, a verb more than anything else. Beyond search, where do you think AI will have the most direct, practical impact that we'll see over the next couple of years?
Well, I mean, I think as far as kind of its application uses, I think it's going to be all over. I mean, obviously, I think you're seeing a lot of money being poured into areas like healthcare and financial services, anything that obviously can add to kind of the automation process. I think you're seeing a lot, I'm here in San Francisco and we just had a large cybersecurity conference. I think you're seeing a lot of it around what AI and what kind of some of the machine learning and automation it can bring to security. Pretty much, at some point, just like every company became a software company, every company is going to be an AI company to some extent, because they're going to be creating their own models and they're going to be creating their own applications based on the technology.
Is it still kind of the buzzword we look for in every single earnings report, how CEOs, CFOs mention what they're doing in the space?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to start there. Obviously I deal not just with public companies, but also more venture-backed companies. I know for the private sector, I think every company has to have a compelling story to tell around AI. AI washing has now become a word, right? Or a phrase that we use for companies that don't truly use AI, but they're trying to somehow incorporate it into kind of their business strategy, or at least what they're telling investors or potential investors. And I think if you're a public company and you're talking to your shareholders, I think at the top of everybody's mind is what is going on with AI? How are you using it? How are you investing in it? Are you, or is it something that's kind of an internal investment? Is it an external investment? Is it something like we've seen, obviously, you started off this conversation talking about OpenAI that we've seen with, Microsoft. NVIDIA has made countless investments into companies, obviously because they're the largest AI play right now going. So yeah, you have to have an AI story. You have to have a compelling AI story. I think if anything, investors have gotten a little bit more savvy in trying to dissect the different companies' AI stories. We saw that with Reddit, right? Reddit did tell an AI story. Some people have questioned it, but I think overall it seems to have worked.
Yeah, I tell you, every time I open Instagram, it tells me ask Meta AI anything. So I guess everyone is all in. Also, an interesting study out that showed 75% of knowledge workers are using AI at the office. More than half of them won't admit it to their bosses. What do you make of that study and that number? I mean, I would have thought 20% would have been a high number, let alone 75.
The number really doesn't surprise me. I think everybody's captivated right now, and I think, obviously, when somebody says they use it, what does that really mean? Is that using it really just as a one-off or weekly, or what you're using it for? I think from a business perspective, though, I think that number probably worries a lot of businesses. That's, again, if you want to go back to maybe like the security play for AI, one of the aspects of AI that companies are definitely thinking about is how much should we be using it? How reliable is it? We've heard of AI hallucinations. What are our legal implications from using some of these models that are using data that may be good, may be bad, may be malicious? We may not have the rights to. So while I'm not shocked by that number, and I'm sure that businesses aren't shocked by that number, it's definitely a number that it's definitely something that I'm sure businesses are keeping a very close eye on and seeing how their workers exactly use that. But like we just said,
Yeah.
all businesses have to have an AI play, and the only way you can have an AI play is if your employees use it.
No question. Initially, there were a lot of business leaders sounding warning bells. They've kind of faded, but not Warren Buffett. At his annual shareholder conference, he said AI scams are going to be the growth industry of all time. And he went on to compare AI to nuclear weapons. He also talked that way about crypto back in the day as a pet rock. What would you say to the Oracle regarding his AI take?
I would say what I would normally probably tell him, which is he's right. In all honesty, I think, again, I cover a lot of cybersecurity along with AI out here, and the AI threat landscape is huge. So yeah, not just do you have some questions around how it will change work or how it will change our personal lives or what it might mean for jobs, but I think it adds, be it through text or visual art or voice modification or voice copying techniques. The threat landscape is greatly being expanded by AI, and you're having a lot of new companies that are sprouting up to try to engage that and try to stop that. But scammers are kind of always kind of ahead of those who try to protect us. So yeah, I mean, I think it opens up a whole new threat landscape. I won't even say maybe it opens up one. It just makes it wider. It's always kind of been there. But it's definitely something that should concern not just you as an individual, but definitely concerns businesses and what it can mean for them. There are tons of products right now that are coming onto the market that say they can help guard against some of this. Will they? Will they not? I don't know. I think there will be some winners in that sector, but as far as that threat landscape, there's unquestionably widening.
Yeah, the music industry really has their hands full. You write a lot about fundraising rounds in this space. The latest has Paris-based Mistral AI raising on a $6 billion valuation, triple from last December. That is unfathomable. Is this type of fundraising rounds and exponential gains, is it sustainable?
Is it sustainable?
Or will it continue?
Well, right. I mean, it shows no signs of stopping. I think that's what's fair to say. I think in the first quarter we actually had we had fewer billion-dollar rounds going to companies, but just in a couple of the last few weeks, we've seen CoreWeave, we've seen Wave, we've seen Zaire Therapeutics. We've seen multiple companies raise billion-dollar rounds that all have a strong AI play to them. While they all operate in different industries or sectors, the one kind of strong backbone between all of those companies is AI. And all those valuations have increased. CoreWave's valuation has increased 10x in 12 months, basically. So is it sustainable? I'm not sure. Is it smart? I'm not sure about that. But I will say that it shows no signs of stopping. I think you'll continue to see that for the next several quarters. I think you're getting more and more investors that are questioning now how these companies grow into those valuations and what their market really is and how they can take advantage of that market. I mean, I think we already know that you're going to have winners that are already winners in technology, like the Microsofts, the Googles, the Metas of the world. So how many more are going to be added to that through AI? Just like we did see some new winners with mobile, we'll see some new winners with AI. Who they will be, and did investors get those valuations right? I don't know. I kind of fall on the side where, do I think you really can grow your valuation 10x in 12 months? I find that kind of hard to believe.